The Tesla Model 3 is one of the most innovative cars on the market. Between its integrated infotainment system and advanced driving features, there's a lot to learn after purchasing the vehicle. I have owned my 2021 Tesla Model 3 for 5 months now and have learned a bunch of tips and tricks along the way. Today I'm going to share with you guys those tips and tricks that I have learned and have found quite useful. The first tip is how to exit screen cleaning mode quickly. So your screen accumulates fingerprints so easily and you do need to clean it quite often. So what you do is you go into this little car icon, then you go into the display, and then typically you hit screen cleaning mode. So now the only way before I knew of how to exit was to actually hold this button and hold it now to exit. But then you go ahead and you put another fingerprint on your freshly cleaned screen. So instead of doing that, you can actually hit the brake and hold down the brake and it will exit screen cleaning mode. Alternatively, if you want to avoid screen cleaning mode altogether, you can tape the wipe that they gave you and you just fold it in fours, and then you're able to clean the screen without hitting any of the buttons. The windshield of the Tesla does seem to get foggier than most cars I've driven before. So one thing to do is if it is raining outside, make sure to turn on your defroster so that when moisture does get into the vehicle that it doesn't automatically just fog up your windshield. The next tip is you can double tap the defrost button to put the whole defrosting system on high mode. If you need to defrost your windows quickly, this is the best way to warm up your car. Voice commands are a really useful feature of Teslas and they're constantly adding to their list of voice commands. One that I personally think is probably the best one is being able to turn your windshield wipers on and off with the voice command button. I've seen a ton of conversation around the windshield wipers and how hard they are to turn on with the screen, and so this just circumvents that entire process. So what you do is you touch the button and say, turn on windshield wipers. And then it automatically turns them on, and then I can hit the button again and say, turn off windshield wipers. And then they turn off. You can also control the climate as well and lock and unlock the car with voice commands. I have already created a video on a list of really useful voice commands. If you're interested in checking that out, I will link the video above and in the description down below. The next useful tip is if you are watching YouTube or playing a game or on Netflix, you can easily touch the top of the screen and it brings up options to control the brightness, the climate, and also the volume. This way you don't have to exit out of whatever you're doing in order to change these things. Alternatively, you can also change it on the app as well. Sometimes I forget whether or not I rolled my windows up or not, and another useful tip is that you can either roll up your windows or even vent them from the Tesla app. So as you can see right now, my windows are open, but if I look on the app, it shows me in the avatar that the windows are also down, which is really useful if you can't remember if they're up or down. You're also able to send directions from Apple or Google Maps directly to your Tesla's navigation system, instead of having to retype it in once you get in the car. This way, once you get in the car, you're ready to drive to your destination. In order to navigate to a location, you don't just have to type in that location. You can also come here on the navigation screen, you can scroll into where you want to go, and then all you have to do is hold down on the map, and then it will navigate you to that point. Another useful tip is how to actually clean the windshield wipers. We have tried to pull them up and they just don't budge, and the reason why is you have to command it to lift automatically, and the way you can do that is you go into the driver settings here and then you go into service and then you just click the wiper service mode, and that should allow the wipers to automatically lift up and then you can clean them. When you're charging your Tesla, the T next to the charger will be a color. This color always has a meaning. Here's a chart of the colors and their meaning. This can help you troubleshoot if you're having issues charging your vehicle. Your Tesla comes with a charging adapter that allows you to use other charging networks. I didn't know that this existed until a couple months after we purchased the vehicle. But if you are in a bind and you don't see a Tesla charger nearby, you might be able to use another charging network by using this adapter here. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the charging speeds are going to be the same and that the payment is probably going to be different and through their own service according to that network. But it is a good way to get a charge if you do need something. I did discover that at some charging locations, they are actually free. At our local Whole Foods, they do have 2 free chargers, which is really cool, but the charging speeds are really low. So, I mean, yes, you can probably find a couple that might be free, but it might take forever to charge. The next tip is using this console organizer. I added this after purchasing the vehicle a couple months later, and it has been so great. So if you open it here, it fits perfectly right in this slot, and you're able to put your sunglasses or just add some extra storage. I will say that this has been super great, and it almost feels like it came like that with the car, that it just fits so perfectly inside. If you're interested in also getting one of these console organizers, I'll link it in the description down below. While using Autopilot to change your speed, you can tap the speed limit sign to bring you to that speed. This is great when the speed limit changes, so you can quickly adjust. You can also change the speed by increments of 5 by flicking the right thumb wheel. If your screen starts to glitch or if there's anything that just seems off about it, you can always reset it. So the way that you do that is you hold down these 2 thumb wheels here. So you have to hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds for it to work, but then it does turn off and then it will now reboot itself. That concludes all of my Tesla tips and tricks that I have learned over the last 5 months. Please let me know in the comments down below what tips and tricks you guys have learned and have found super useful. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like down below, as that really helps out my channel. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're interested in more Tesla content, as I post every Thursday and Saturday. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.